And this morning, I'm joined by mayoralty candidate Cary Tarasoff. Morning, Cary.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. And, I was looking at your bio. I must say, in my many, many years of talking to people on the radio, you are the first nuclear, biological, chemical defense officer that I have ever interviewed.
Well, it's relevant to Saskatoon, so thank you for that.
That was part of your work you did with the Canadian Forces base up at Cold Lake, I understand.
Yeah, I ran the section up there. I protected the base for chemical and biological agents.
That's impressive. So tell me, Cary Tarasoff, why do you want to be the mayor of Saskatoon?
Because we need someone to actually be a leader instead of following other people's indications. We need someone who can actually understand the technical that's going wrong with the city, and that would be me. I'm a planner. I'm a construction person. And there's a lot of things that get smoothed over which are affecting business and affecting civilian people as well. So
you spend a lot of time watching and listening to what goes on at City Hall, don't you?
I have in the last years. I never used to pay attention, but once I started paying attention, I started finding so many things that I just couldn't let go.
Let's talk about some of the major topics that we're asking all of the mayoralty candidates. One of the big topics seems to be this planned downtown library project on 2nd Avenue. Mayor Cary Tarasoff, what would you do with that?
Well, currently I would stall it. I believe that we need to press pause. I don't believe the library should take another $5.5 million to put in reserves next year. They have more than enough money to continue with planning. It takes years to put a project like this into the works, so there's no quick, it's going to go into construction right now and create all these jobs. That's just a bunch of garbage. We need to hold off and see what's happening. This pandemic isn't leaving quickly, and people that keep talking like it is. The other thing is construction in a pandemic is way more costly than people believe, and I have personal experience to know that. So,
what about the lighthouse, Cary? As mayor, what would you like to see happen with the lighthouse?
Well, I'd like to see it decompress. It's a provincial jurisdiction, but honestly, there's too many people with too many varied issues compiled into one tight spot. That needs to change, and there's a lot of people that believe the same thing. In fact, it's pretty well a universal theme across the council, it sounds like, or the candidates for mayor. Mm-hmm. But the province has to step up, and somebody needs to be a leader at the city to push the province hard enough to get things moving, and I think I can be that person. So
we're hearing a lot of the candidates talking about zero tax increases if they were to become mayor. What do you see doing if you assume that role as far as the city budget?
For the first year, I can't do anything. I believe that right now we're running a deficit of $14 million or more. And, well, if we stop all these major projects, I mean, the city takes... We're worried about a tax increase, and the city takes out about $68 million a year before taxes. They take that profit out of the utilities, so technically you've been paying way higher taxes than you ever imagined. And right now we pay more on debt servicing than snow removal and garbage collection combined, and people don't seem to pay attention to that. So I want to stop the debt and hold off, be very conservative right now, and to get a handle on things until we know what's going to happen with this emergency we're living in right now.
What about the downtown arena project? I know for a lot of people, they like to think about the idea of an arena downtown, potentially, a 10-year timeline on this. What would Mayor Cary Tarasoff do as far as an arena project?
Well, I think the planning could take place, but if we can't deal with rail issues and transportation issues around an arena first, we shouldn't be planning for a large exhibit like that there. We're just going to create a very expensive piece of property that needs a lot of people to get to it, and if we can't get through the rail lines to get to them, we've created a problem, right? So first thing we need to do is deal with rail. And but we can be planning and looking at sites for the arena and planning to integrate with our existing businesses downtown instead of trying to create a standalone recreation of restaurants and bars and hotels, and then we suck patrons away from our existing hotels. Makes no sense.
You say you're not really in favor of moving ahead with the big projects until the pandemic has cleared when it comes to the arena and the library, and yet I saw a report that it said you propose rail tunnels underneath the city. Then that's a pretty major undertaking if we were to look at something like that.
Well, I wouldn't propose to spend on it right now, and but I can tell you that for, say, Mayor Don's 13 years and 4 years for Charlie, they just kept recycling the same idea. They spent money, a huge amount of money, to look at a park over the rail lines, over diesel trains, but they didn't look at overpasses properly then even. So no one's looked at going under. 150 cities in the world, 50-some countries have rail lines or subway lines underneath them. CP Rail themselves are experts in this. They've got the longest tunnel in Canada at 9 miles in the mountains. So they know the ventilation issues. They even used a tunnel boring machine on part of it, although it's a different machine than I would think would be used for us. But they've got the most experience. And where the city and the mayor's plans have all been completely shot down by CP and CN, and they don't even want to participate in anything with them, both of them came back with a no comment on mine. And I wasn't even mayor yet. So they've done that in 17 years, haven't been able to get anything but no's. And without even being mayor, I got no comments. So that means that they're considering it.
Cary, why would you go after the mayor's job? And actually, this is something I should have been asking a couple of the other candidates as well, is why not start with a run at city council as a councillor as opposed to the top job?
Well, a lot of times I go to council, it looks like the councillors are falling asleep. And leadership starts at the top, and the weakest point we have right now is at the top. The mayor is also a member of every committee, so you can walk in and find out the most information because you are allowed to be there. And the mayor can set the tone publicly more than the councillors can. And I believe that needs to happen. So for people that don't know me, they can go to my website, carytarasoff.ca, and find out who I am. But I'm a driven person, and I am a technical person, and I break down what's going on into small bites. And if I need to press hard, I am not afraid to do so.
I've got the link up as well on the Brent Loucks Show page on Facebook to your Facebook page where people can find some of the information there. Cary, final comments to you. Why do you think people should vote for you in the civic election here?
City of Saskatoon people are hardworking. They deserve better leadership at the top and better accountability. Right now, people are not wanting to take on debt personally. They're trying to get rid of debt in this tough time, and yet all they hear from their elected officials just about is that they want to take on vast amounts of debt. We've got a huge amount of debt now that most people can't comprehend, and we need someone to be steady, literally steady at the helm to make sure that we can hold on to what we've got and to keep providing good service for people.
Well said. Cary Tarasoff, thanks for your time and all the best in the civic election.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Cary Tarasoff.